soon as I saw the Canadian truckers sort of situation going down, I've been watching it unfold and
Yeah.
baffled at the lack of media coverage, like completely baffled.
Baffled, or it's finally opened. And I'll say this because my wife is absolutely beside herself. She started not trusting mainstream media a little while ago, but this is just so flagrant. It's not funny, especially in Canada, where we have tons of different streaming avenues that show the truth versus mainstream media saying stuff like, oh, there's a couple of thousand people when there's literally hundreds of thousands of people. I mean, the orders of magnitude of lying and deception is it's disgraceful. And it makes you wonder when you grew up, when you only had newspapers and radio to rely upon. You never had cameras in your pockets and social media platforms to get alternative views. How much of this was, coerced in the past? So it's lots of stuff going on, no question. In Canada, we're right at the epicenter, aren't we?
Yeah, and I mean that's not where I'd imagined things would go, sort of initially when this first all kicked off.
Okay.
I hadn't envisioned that at all that Canada would be the place that really like exploded as the.
It's neat, or not neat. Look, I'm really proud of the truckers, and I want to stress a couple of things here, and this is important to lay the foundation is the way I look at things. Okay, firstly, I'm doubly vaxxed. I have my entire family is doubly, and in the case of my son who lives in France for his job, he plays hockey in France, believe it or not, has to be triple vaxxed. All right. So we were all, been poked a couple of times here. And, but let's say my daughter, who's 21 years old, was against it because she wanted to get pregnant. There's no way I could bring myself to tell her she had to take this thing. And so I am not anti-vax. What I am is pro-freedom. And I think that anybody in Canada that can take a step back and look at it as freedom of choice, freedom of expression, freedom is, can get it pretty quickly. But then you have our state media. Today, the CBC, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, published a report that said, why do right-wingers use the word freedom so much? Or the far right. And you're like, I beg your pardon. Why? Because that's the basis of Canada. It's in our national anthem. This true north, strong and free. Anyway, so people say it's weird that it happened in Canada. There's another expression, and people accuse me of repeating myself all the time, but here it goes. Canada is nice except on the ice. Okay. Or Canadians are nice except on the ice, meaning the ice hockey rink. But listen, this is happening on a full-blown ice hockey rink. It's the middle of winter up here. To your listeners, like we're minus 20 degrees Celsius. There's guys when they camp out in their trucks outside. They're not outside, but in their cabs, but just outside their door. It's literally minus 30 in the middle of the night, right? This is right in the middle of the heart of the Canadian winter. And perhaps that, you'd argue it wouldn't be as effective as it was in the summer. I mean, this is not for the faint of heart. These guys and ladies obviously hugely believe in their purpose. And I do too.
Yeah. It's as you've said. I think I view it very much as a pro freedom thing at this point. It's about choice, and like most people have done it. So that's the thing that confuses me is that, and I think they're saying that 90% of the truckers have been vaccinated.
Hard to say. I think that's a global number. 90% of truckers across the nation versus how many truckers are at the rally. Sometimes these stats get swayed in different ways, but 90% of the Canadian population is vaccinated, if I'm not mistaken. That being said, we certainly bump up against the highest averages in the world, and the government continued to promise us freedoms if we passed a certain level. Certain thresholds would allow the mandates to be lifted, and they have never come through on those promises. And essentially, enough was enough with certain elements of the population and brave elements. I mean, these people drove across Canada. This is their last stand. And look, I have 3 kids, and This is what my granddad believed in. He was a fighter ace in World War I and a group commandant in World War II. He fought tyranny. He was awarded the Order of the British Empire, a very prestigious medal. And there's no way he fought and risked his life in order for us to be a bunch of, squids. And we are not. And someone pushed the truckers too far, and then they mobilized, and yeah, it's becoming a bit of a global event, isn't it?
Yeah. So maybe it'd be useful here just before we go into what happened with GoFundMe and Bitcoin, just to sort of go back for people, because one of the things that's really really shocked me has been, I've spoken to a lot of people about this. I've been talking to a lot of people like through the last couple of weeks, and almost everyone that I speak to has no idea that it's happening. Like people who would normally be aware of like,
again, it's it's a global sponsored, it's globally sponsored. What's the word? When you shut down the media, globally sponsored
censorship. Or it's a blackout, really, a media
blackout. Yeah, globally sponsored blackout. And well, it's not surprising because you get people who think, oh my God, if it can happen in Canada, it can happen anywhere. And it is happening anywhere. You're seeing it in Paris. You're seeing these huge convoy or protests in Canberra. I'm not even sure where that is, if it's in Aussie or New Zealand.
Actually, I'm going to get pull these up. So I'm pulling up for some people here while you're talking. There's a protest as far as the eye can see in Canberra. And then I'm going to pull up for people as well. There is this was the capital city. Actually, I'll share it with you as well if you'd like to see it.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so that should be showing you.
That's amazing,
isn't it? It's absolutely incredible.
That is crazy. And then, where is that? That's Canberra. But what country is that in?
That's Australia.
Oh, Aussie. Okay. And did you see it in New Zealand, the haka rugby chant?
Yeah,
I played some rugby, in my younger years, and man, let me tell you, when you played a team and they came out with that war dance at the beginning of or forgive me if I'm offending anybody, it's not a war dance, maybe, or whatever it is. It certainly struck fear into the hearts of many of the opposing players in rugby. That's for sure. So
I had a school. My rugby coach in school was Willie Anderson. So he was an Irish and I
actually recognize that name. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, so he was famous for taking the entire Irish team. I think it was the Irish team or the Lions team up, and they stood like arm in arm, like stared
against them. Yeah, I remember that one. I remember that one. Yeah. Isn't that funny? So my rugby coach when I was growing up was guy Keith Wilkinson, and he played for the Scottish team in his youth before coming to Canada or whatever. But anyway, rugby's not that big in Canada, although there's certain. We excel at certain parts of the game. Our sevens team at one point was pretty good. But anyway, back to the here and now. These are people that for some reason we have been silent for too long. And then I'm not sure what pushed the trigger. But when you saw these convoys driving across Canada, and I encourage you to look on social media in Canada. A professor down in Cornell, Dave Callum, who I actually respect a lot. He tweeted one out recently. He goes, "This brought tears to my eyes." And it's just a video, a 7-minute video about truckers driving across Canada, but the overpass is flooded with people and, on snowbanks, right? Like 10-foot high snowbanks, young kids holding signs, "Go truckers." And then what do you hear on social media? Well, whatever the Trudeau says, it's a small fringe element with unacceptable views. According to who, Mr. Trudeau? According to you. So you are the author of who can have views that are acceptable versus unacceptable,
Thanks for making it all the way to the end of the video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment for us in the comments below. Let me know what you thought and if you'd like to see more of this from the show. Thank you, and we'll see you again next time.